I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
And this week, we're going to take a scout hike through the woods following Fred McMurray as he talks to us about our alcoholic dads and our problems.
Follow Me, Boys, from 1966.
On the wonderful world of Disney,
I can't have any children.
you'll laugh through your tears. With Fred McMurray, Vera Miles, and Kurt Russell in his first film appearance.
I don't need you. I don't need anybody.
They'll capture your heart in Walt Disney's Follow Me, Boys. It begins with one little tough guy.
We don't have a kid of our own and we want one.
And becomes a family of thousands on the wonderful world of Disney.
Follow Me, Boys, Saturday at 2 on KPTV 12.
Follow me, comma, boys. I don't get the comma. It's a little weird. But my heart's very full right now. That's what I'll initially say.
Yeah, that's exactly what this movie is.
It's like an emotional roller coaster, though. There's a lot of sad parts in this movie, too.
I don't know if they're, sad.
There's some pretty sad parts in this movie.
I guess.
Much better than I initially going into.
I thought it was great. It was fantastic.
It really was. It definitely was had me back to those Callaways feelings.
Well, yeah, big shocker there.
But no, it was really good. It was really long, and there was
very much a Norman Tokar movie.
Definitely some things they could have cut out, but
yeah, a whole
segment in the middle that made no sense to the rest of the movie and was very, very delightful, but also very confusing.
Yeah.
To the rest of the movie. And I don't understand why this isn't on Disney Plus.
I don't get it either. It doesn't make any real sense.
It makes zero sense. This is exactly the kind of movie that families should watch.
You would think so.
So you have to rent it on Amazon, and let me read the synopsis really quick.
At least as of
whatever
October.
Date.
Wait, what is?
What is today?
It's still September.
It's still
September 2023.
Yeah. Follow Me, Boys. Drama, charming, touching. A man settles down in a small town and becomes the scoutmaster.
Nice. I like the Amazon.
They're just so short compared to the Disney Plus ones.
Well, Disney Plus ones are just shut up.
It's a lot, that's for sure. But yeah, I guess this is very Norman Tokar. Well, I don't know though. Some of his movies are so weird. There's Snowball Express, Boatnik's Norman Tokar, and then there's Candle Shoe, those Callaways Norman Tokar, and this falls more on those Callaways side. Yeah, but
they're all long, and they all have at least one storyline that could be totally chopped out.
Yeah, that's true. And they they could have ended at a different point.
Right.
And there's always something super dramatic. There has to be something really dramatic in all of the movies, for sure. Except for Boatniks. I don't really remember anything in Boatniks that was...
I don't even remember, the main plot line.
The Boatniks was the jewel thieves who were trying to steal...
the jewel thieves,
and it ended with them shooting, sausages out of the submarine at the... thing.
Yeah.
It was the jewel thief thing, and it was completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
There was no...
The really, really, really long ending scene.
Yes, which this actually didn't really have that, but everything else...
No, they chose a different long scene.
And then the writers, Louis Pelletier and McKinley Cantor, the Lewis guy, Smith, those Callaways...
Run, Cooper, run.
And the Cantor guy, he just did a bunch of 40s movies, basically. That was his big thing.
Yeah.
But,
and so our actors, Freddie Mac, of course.
Which we just saw him, 5 minutes ago.
He's the best, though.
He's much more likable in this than Absent Minded Professor.
Well, the Absent Minded Professor kind of sucks, so. It's not his fault.
He was great in this. He should have gotten an Oscar for this.
He was made for this role.
This was, amazing.
Yeah.
And he was in almost every scene of the movie, I think.
Except for the one where Whitey runs away.
But he's still in, only for a second. He's in basically the entire 2 hours and 11-minute runtime is full of Fred McMurray. And usually that's not a good thing, but it worked out really well.
Yeah, in this case it really did.
My name's Lem Siddons. I'm out of Chicago, Lakeside High in the United States Army. Since then, for 8 years, I've been blowing a saxophone and studying law on the side. Now I've decided I'd like to settle down someplace, and, I think this is it. I could be a crackerjack salesman, or I could sweep the place out.
And then I was really pleased that I wasn't wrong that the main gal Vera Miles. I was like, God, she reminds me so much of the mom in those Callaways, and it was the same lady. I was really pleased about that.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the same. She's the same. She's Mrs. Calloway.
Oh. I missed that somehow. I just thought that she was in Psycho.
No,
like,
she's
wow.
Mrs. Calloway. That's probably, she was so likable in this as well.
But the thing that screws it up is that she's blonde as Miss Calloway and black haired in this.
Is she blonde in Calloway's?
Yeah, she's blonde in everything else.
Oh, I thought it was more of like a light brown.
No. She's blonde, and in this she's like black haired almost.
Yeah, no, but they have the same face and they had the same kind of like spunkiness and. Yeah, I was very, very pleased. I didn't really think that until about, like, halfway through the movie, but I was very pleased. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy it was you. So happy. And we'll see her.
Miss Calloway, is that you?
Yeah, she's the best. All right, we'll see her again in something called A Tiger Walks, which is another Disney movie that we haven't watched yet.
Tiger Walks. Yeah, we'll see more of Freddie Mac, too. There's a couple more movies we haven't seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen Bon Voyage, Happiest Millionaire, and something called Charlie and the Angel. And that's all that I could tell that was Disney that we haven't seen.
Charlie and the Angel. And then the rest of the cast is kind of not... I mean, they're really famous actors, like the lady that played Siebert is Lillian Gish.
She was
like
acting in like...
super famous actor.
Oh my God, she's so old. Yeah. She was acting in like she was acting in silent movies in like the 1910s.
And same thing with the guy who was the store owner, Charles Ruggles. He was also acting in silent movies.
And he was
Well, yeah. But he was also in The Parent Trap and
grandpa.
Son of Flubber. And he's also in The Ugly Dachshund.
Yeah, so we'll see him again a couple times. And then the main rival for Fred McMurray, he was just an absent-minded professor. It's Shelby. Elliot Reed.
Yeah.
So we just saw both of them, and they played basically the same characters to one another.
Yeah. Yeah. It ended a little faster in this.
As it should.
Yeah.
Which I was pleased about.
And then we have little Kurt Russell.
Oh my God, he's just a baby. That's why when he first appeared on screen, I was like, what? Oh my God. Because I thought he looked young in the movie we watched where he's the computer tennis shoes movie. But he's a literal baby in this. Yeah. He is so young.
And he is really good.
Oh, he's excellent in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought maybe your boy would like to join up. Why, you go around with him, huh?
I don't go picking daisies with a bunch of mama's boys.
Oh, no. How often have I told you not to? That's all right, Ed.
It's crazy how good of an actor he is.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
It's like hard to even think, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, all the acting in this movie was, by all the little boys were really good. Like, everybody did a really good job. Do you get any fun facts?
I guess. Walt Disney died 2 weeks after this movie was made.
I know, it's so sad.
So sad, last movie. Oh.
But, I mean, it was a good last movie, I guess. He
went out with a warm heart.
Might be frozen now.
Yeah.
This was Kurt Russell's first Disney movie, and really this was his first big movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, he had a couple smaller things before this, but this was his first, big movie.
His breakout role.
Yeah. Most definitely.
That's it.
The last one I had was apparently this is Fred McMurray's favorite film he's ever made.
I could see that.
According to himself.
I could see that.
He thinks this is the best film he's ever made. So
I could definitely see that.
He's got a lot of feelings about his role.
I mean, how could he not? I mean, he basically moves to this little town and becomes the most popular person in the town.
So, okay, at what point in this movie were you, fully in? Were you okay, this is a great movie?
It was somewhere in the Whitey scenes. It took a while. At first, I wasn't sure if it was going to be very good.
I think I was fully in when he became the scoutmaster and they were hiking through the woods the first time. I think then I was like, okay,
wow,
this is great. Yeah. Then it was pretty much in. When at first the opening scenes I wasn't 100% sure, but then when he became the scoutmaster it was the scene where she brings the food to the camp.
That was definitely the right scene, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, this is great.
When he was having to teach the boys a different lesson of bitches be crazy.
Yeah. So are we gonna march our way through this, I guess? Yeah. I don't know why you whispered that. You could have just said it.
I was just giving it to you. It's trying to...
just softballing it
trying to give you a free one.
Yeah, we're gonna march our way through the woods. And we'll try to be concise. I mean, a lot does happen.
But a lot doesn't happen at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it felt like a lot happened to me.
I took a single page of notes on a 2 hour and 11-minute movie. I
did not take a single page of notes. I took a lot more notes than you, I guess. Hopefully you didn't leave anything out.
I think I did just fine.
But our note-taking style is also very different. I take more full sentence notes, and you take more like one-word notes. So, okay, the movie opens, it's 1930.
He's in a traveling band.
Which, I feel like they could have just cut this in a different way to cut this out.
No, I think this is fine. It's fine. It just shows him he's traveling the country, he's doing stuff, and he's like, you know what, I just want to put some roots down. He's like, you know what, fuck it, this town has a hot chick.
Oh yeah, because he steps on her first thing when he's and it establishes quickly the boys are like playing baseball in the street, and the townspeople just think all the boys are nuisances. Yeah,
because they're running roughshod all over town.
Yeah, just the worst. It's horrible. How dare they play baseball?
Horrible.
So he sees a sign that they need a store clerk, so he's like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a store clerk.
And I'm going to bang that chick.
Yeah, those are his two main goals, because as soon as he's working, he just gets very involved in the town. There's this old lady who everyone thinks is kind of kooky because she's very forgetful, and she's like, oh my god, they made me the president of this civics club. I don't know why they picked that. It's only because I am rich. Mm. Which I thought in the opening scene when she's at the bank, it made it seem like she was like destitute. He's like, we're not charity funds, Mrs. Siebert.
No, but he was telling her that he couldn't foreclose on a person's house.
And I thought it was like he was talking to her like she was some destitute old woman, and I was like, this is so confusing. Okay. So he goes to the civics meeting, and he's like peeping on what
Vida.
Vida, that's her name. I keep wanting to call her Val, but it's Vida. What Vida is like gonna write Boy Scouts, that's her suggestion, and he just takes it for his own.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this is what we need to do with the boys. We need to form a Boy Scout troop. And I'll lead it, it's fine. Because previously, like, they've never been able to get it off the ground.
They're like, well, everybody's had that idea every year, but nobody wants to do it. He's like, well, I'll do it, it's fine.
Which is so typical of those kinds of things, right? People are like, we should do this, we should do that, but nobody ever, like,
wants to.
Does it.
Yeah.
But Fred McMurray's definitely a do it kind of guy.
So he gets them, they're all marching around, and a little scuffle with Whitey, the roughneck.
Oh my god, and his alcoholic dad, but I thought his alcoholic dad was going to be, like, beating him, but his alcoholic dad is, like, just, like, a sweet guy.
They didn't show alcoholics like that back then.
No.
They were always like, oh, shucks.
Oh, my dad, he's just an alcoholic. And... yeah, they have a little scuffle with him, and Fred McMurray's like, hey, you can come join the Scouts. And he's like, no, I'm not going to hang out with those pussies.
That shit's for babies. Fuck that.
And even his dad is like, yeah, you should do it. And he's like, no, Dad, it's fine.
It's like, when are you going to stop being such a roughneck, kid?
Yeah.
So then we get the follow me, boys. Follow me, boys.
Yep, because Fred McMurray said, we used to sing this in the Army. And we're going to sing it now. And so then there's
a scene where they get raced by Ralph, the douche.
Oh, God, he's such a douche. Because him and
Vida
are dating, but she seems to be, like, reluctantly dating him.
Well, yeah, she's just dating him for the money. So then they play this game of raccoon, and
Fred McMurray wants to be the raccoon because he wants to go find Vida.
I don't think that's why.
No?
No.
Okay.
He just volunteered because none of the boys wanted to do it, so he did it.
Mm.
And he went out and ended up finding.
Okay.
How would he know that the car broke down?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He finds her with the car broke down, and he's just Mr. Charming Fred.
Oh, he's so charming. I was watching and I was charmed by him. I was like, yeah, Vida, get it. Okay, and the part when all the boys come and then they jumpstart the car down the hill, I love this part. I thought it was so
really funny.
Good. And the best part of this scene, they pop the clutch down the hill and it starts, and they come up on old banker douchebag, and he's such a dick to all these kids who just started his car. that Vida's like, you know what? I'm done with you. And she just leaves him there in the dust. And it's great. I was like, yeah. I even said out loud, I was like, yeah, bitch. Audibly very excited that she left him because he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
That was unnecessarily rude, Ralph.
Get in the car, Vida.
They were just trying to help get the car.
Vida, will you please get in the car?
Mr. Siddons!
Vida!
Mr. Siddons! Mr. Siddons!
Vida, come back here!
Then we were cut to town after the movie, and he's being Pimp McMurray.
Oh, yeah, because he went on a date with Vida.
Yeah, right away, yeah.
Do you want an ice cream or a root beer float or something?
Sunday. So as they're walking through town, he hears like a noise in the shop.
Well, here's the dog.
Sees Dutch, who's the real star of the movie.
Oh my god, I love this dog.
Dutch is adorable.
We needed more Dutch.
Yeah, there was a lot, but we still needed more. He catches Whitey burglarizing the store, and Whitey hurts his ankle.
Okay, when they first popped the lights on, I thought somebody was hanging themselves.
So did I.
I was like, oh
I
my
thought it
god.
was like Whitey's dad was in his shop hanging himself.
That's what I thought too. For a second, I was like, oh my god. But no, it was just him up on a ladder. And he hurts his ankle, they fix it, and they use from the Boy Scout book. And he's like, oh, hey, that's pretty neat. And Fred McMurray's like trying to tell him, yeah, you can learn all kinds of stuff doing scouts.
That's not for me, that's baby stuff. And he runs off, but he swipes the book.
And Fred McMurray knows that he swipes the book. Like, he clearly sees him do it. Like,
yeah, and Vida's like, oh, why'd you do that? And he tells her a little story about him being a rough-necked youth and that people, like, some guy helped him out. And she just goes, like, instantly, like...
Yeah, they kiss, and it's
Sploosh.
like, oh. And then the next scene is what we kind of mentioned earlier is one of the... I think it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
She shows up to feed the boys on the day that they have to cook for themselves. And he's like, no, you can't do that. They gotta learn to cook.
And he's trying to be nice about it at first, because she brought all this fried chicken and potato salad. And she's like, I fried up 6 chickens. I made a whole cake. And I'm like, that sounds delicious. Yeah. And all the boys rush over, including the fat kid, Beefy.
Beefy.
I love that kid.
Beefy. I like Kwong, too.
Yeah, the random non-white person in this town. And
hey, and nobody makes a big deal out of it.
Well, yeah, because nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just pointing that out. It's great.
And so Fred McMurray, she's like baiting him. She's like,
she's being a bitch.
Are you forbidding me to do this? And he's like, no. And then she's like, okay, well then I'm gonna. And he's like, no, I forbid it, because he's trying to do the right thing for the boys.
Yeah.
That was a lovely exhibition.
Now, Vida,
A 100% domineering. I forbid you. Let's keep them in their places. Male performance.
male nothing.
You're all alike, every last one of you. Puffed up, lords of the universe, egotistical know-it-alls. And I thought you were different.
Different? Vida, all I did was ask you to get rid of the chicken.
No, you didn't. You said, I forbid you.
Vida, where are you going?
And so then she throws the biggest tantrum. It is so dramatic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then they're fighting, and so he's trying to, like, make her simmer down. And meanwhile, while they're fighting, the boys were patching this canoe in another part of the lake. And they're like, oh, I don't think it's dry yet, it'll sink. So when she runs over to the lake and she's tossing the chicken in, and everyone's just devastated that she's throwing all this food away. And then she's like, well, I'm going to go in this canoe. And I'm like, oh my god, it's going to sink, obviously.
So it does. It sinks. Then it kind of cools them off.
Well, they start laughing.
Because she's so hot under the collar. And instantly they're getting married.
Yeah, I was like,
they're
okay.
At Niagara Falls. It's like, what?
Wow. They're married now. So clearly time has passed. They do a lot of time passing in this movie.
And they have this little sweet scout serenade after they get home and unpack their shit.
It was super cute. The whole them unpacking was cute. Their little house. And then, homely Kurt Russell's, oh, my alcoholic dad, I have no friends. He's just like creeping on them, what they're doing.
Yeah. And we smash cut then to this crazy cabin that the kids built for Fred McMurray as a scout.
We didn't have any nails, so we just used knots. Yeah, that sounds real safe.
And Whitey's also hanging around there, and he fights one of the kids for just saying that his dad was at the bar.
Yeah, well, because the kid's like, oh, you could have time to help us. I saw your dad's parked outside the pool house. And then Whitey gets all defensive and they start fighting. But Fred McMurray's able to kind of break it up. And
he convinces him, like, hey, dude, you want to be a part of this. Like, obviously.
Everybody wants you here. Like, nobody's... Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, none of the boys really have a problem with him at all.
No, not at all. Not even remotely.
Like, everybody, I think, just feels bad for him, basically.
As soon as they go into the shack, it falls, and then Whitey's a part of the band. He's helped fixing the pump. And
yeah, because he knows about plumbing, apparently, because his dad's a plumber.
Yeah.
And then there's this scene where he's getting his patches sewn on because he doesn't have a mom by by Vida. And she's like crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? And I thought, oh, maybe she just is crying because she's like, oh, you don't have a mom. I'm so sad for you.
I thought she was pregnant.
That's what I thought too. And then we get this was really upsetting. We get this horrible scene where she's telling Fred McMurray, oh, I've been going to the doctor in secret for months and I'm barren and I can't have any children. And I would have told you before we got married if I had known. And he's basically like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, look at all these boys that we have. It's fine. Like, we're going to have a great life.
It's in my nerves. Never was. I just told you that. I lied, too.
No.
He's been giving me a series of tests. I can't have any children. Now or ever.
Is he sure?
Tests were very thorough.
Did he just tell you today?
An hour ago. I'm so terribly sorry, Em. I'm so sorry. If I'd known before we were...
Honey, you can just tell Dr. Ferris that he's wrong.
Oh, no, Lemmy, he isn't.
Yeah, he's dead wrong. Why do we can have kids? We've already got 15 boys. It's a pretty good start when you come to think of it.
But it's really sad.
Yeah, it's real sad. But we also find out that Whitey didn't invite his dad to parents' night.
Yeah.
So Fred McMurray did it for him.
Which was... And Vida's like, that was a bad idea. Like, she knows why Whitey didn't invite him.
And his dad shows up late with melting buckets of ice cream.
This scene was so uncomfortable.
Pouring it all over the place, falling all over everybody.
I hated this part. It was so uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, they did a really good job of showing it.
Yeah.
And of course, then Whitey is fucking pissed.
He rips off his patch and he's like, fuck you, Fred McMurray. How dare you?
Fuck you forever.
Leave us alone. Was your idea bringing him out to the meeting?
I know, Whitey. I'm sorry, I was wrong.
All right. You were wrong. I'm wrong. He's wrong. Everybody's wrong.
Easy, Whitey, easy. Respect your elders, remember? He's just a little upset.
Come on, Pa. Let's go home.
Good night, Mem.
Good night, Ed.
I can walk, Whitey. I can walk real fine.
And then, like, at home, a second later, Whitey comes pounding on the door. He's like, Mrs. Vida, my dad fell and he can't get up. But he doesn't run to the doctor. He runs to...
Well, yeah, he needs to call the doctor. And his dad is dead. It's like, dead.
His dad just dies. Well, first the doctor's like, he's not going to make it, his heart, and then he just dies.
He goes, Whitey! And he's dead.
And then immediately, Fred McMurray and Vida are like, oh, let's take him in like a pet.
We're going to adopt him.
But first he's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I don't want to be with you at all. Then he's at their house and he's like, no, I don't need anybody.
Well, yeah, he's doing the basic bad kid shit. And he's like, okay, fine, I love you.
He gives in, and it is a very sweet scene because they're telling him, like, we don't have a kid. We want you.
We're not doing this just as the Scouts honor thing. Yeah, we love you and we want you here. Then we get this weird scene of Snaky Ralph trying to fucking be like, this is a $500,000 property right here.
Yeah, like, it's unclear, like, is he related to Mrs. Siegler?
Yeah, Siegler is his aunt.
But they have a different name.
Well, yeah, I think, like, he had different parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll save that question for the end, but... Yeah, he's telling him, like, yeah, if this was developed, it would be worth $500,000. And Fred McMurray's like, okay, and what's your point? Like...
Yeah, who gives a shit?
And then there's this weird dramatic rescue scene where because Fred McMurray is back at the thing where he's talking.
He's not leading the scout mission. He's letting Whitey lead it.
Right, and this one kid who is the biggest baby I've ever seen,
and a dork because he falls off the edge because he wouldn't get away from the edge, so he falls down onto this other ledge. And Whitey has to fucking rescue him, and the kid so panics, and he does it, and it's all good. But when they get back to town, apparently this kid's mom is a bitch.
Yeah, she's a Karen.
And goes and spreads all over town that this bad kid did something bad to his stupid little fucking boy.
Yeah, because the whole scene where he's being rescued, he's like, I'm scared. And it wasn't even that dramatic. Like, he was on, like, a very stable ledge. Like, it wasn't that dramatic. And so then Whitey now is running away because everyone's blaming him, or at least all the adults in the town are blaming him for this.
So he's like, fuck this, I'm going to move to a different town and become a plumber's helper.
So Fred McMurray's solution is, well, I have to quit being scout leader. And this makes no sense to me.
I think he did it to fuck with Whitey.
Oh, so you think he was intentionally, like, faking it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought... Well, and throughout this whole movie, there's this whole underlying storyline of... Oh, I'm going to get my law degree. I'm going to get my law degree.
He's going to get his law degree.
But he keeps pushing it off.
Because he's helping the scouts too much.
Right.
Working at the store too much.
I'm like, you could do all of it. It's okay.
Well, maybe not. They bring up later that he was doing a lot of pep pills and, what do they call it? Patent drugs, which means he was taking a bunch of fucking amphetamines and stuff. Designer heroin to keep him going that whole time.
So then when they're out at the shack, everybody comes out to, like, convince him. He has this dramatic scene with Whitey where he's like, no, and then Whitey's like, oh my god, I'm upset. I'm an orphan.
But really, when he tells Whitey he's quit, he's like, no, fuck that. No, you can't quit.
Everybody needs you. If I have responsibilities, you have responsibilities, Lem.
Yeah.
This whole thing will blow over. I gave them my resignation. That's all the town wants, really.
You can't quit, Lem.
Why not?
Well, because like you said, it wouldn't solve anything.
Well, now, just a second. It's different with me.
How?
Well, it's just different, that's all.
Lem, if I got responsibilities, believe me, you got worse. All the guys depend on you.
Well, look, who's lecturing who around here?
Lem, you can't quit. There wouldn't even be a scout troop without you.
Why?
You just can't quit, that's all.
Now just take it easy, huh?
Please, Lem. Please.
You can't quit.
So the whole town shows up at the cabin all of a sudden. And he's like, yeah, I decided not to quit.
Yeah, and then he turns it into parents' night and everything's great.
And so then years pass.
Yeah, it flashes. It's like 1938, 1939, and it ends up being 1944.
And we get the most baffling scenes of the movie.
Whitey is apparently in the medical corps, and the war is going on.
Well, okay, that makes perfect sense, though, because they'd be the perfect age to get drafted.
I know. And I kept thinking, okay, when is he going to die? When are they going to get the phone call this kid's going to die?
That's not this movie.
No, but I was convinced when as soon as they said that Whitey was enlisted.
I heard you go like, oh. And I knew you thought that was going to happen.
I thought he was dead.
That's not fucking happening.
He's going to die. But yeah, this scene...
They already had the sad part where Vi couldn't have kids. They couldn't make it any worse than that.
Well, they could.
Well, no, not for a movie like this, though.
So this scene, okay, I didn't understand what was going on in this scene. So they're out on a camp out, and apparently is it the army?
Yeah, the army's having a, training session out there.
It is so bizarre. And it's like a 15-minute scene that 15. They could... Well, maybe 20. I don't know. But they could have cut out this whole segment. And
the whole scene didn't need to be in the movie.
Because basically what happens is Fred McMurray gets captured and no one believes him.
By soldiers, yeah. Like he's some kind of spy.
Well, they think it's part of the simulation.
Yeah, I know.
And but it still was enjoyable. I still found the scene...
It's still funny and good, but it just didn't need to be there.
No, like, so when the boys are getting chased by all the ammunition...
Well, the kids, they light off their cannon, and then all of a sudden, all of the simulation guns start going off, and they start running around and running away.
And when they run into the bunker, and then they're fighting the tank, I really did enjoy this part. It was funny.
It was, but we didn't know any of the kids.
No.
It just was like, kind of like a little weird, like...
It just could have been cut out. I think they just kind of wanted to show, like, some special effects, or maybe...
Well, this movie was taken from a book.
Yeah.
So I think they just wanted to include this part of the book, and...
Well, and maybe they wanted to kind of, like, reiterate this is the middle of war, they're trained, like, this, so that it was more dramatic later. But, yeah, this whole scene, then it turns out that they, you know, they're able to free Fred McMurray, and it's just kind of... Just non sequitur. There's nothing to do with anything of this scene.
Yeah, the scouts capture the tank.
Yeah, which was great.
That part is so funny. When all the kids run out on the tank. Do we get to keep it or do we have to give it back after the games?
Yeah, I really did. I found it delightful, but I also could have just done without it.
That's what I mean. Like, it was very funny. It was super long. But it also...
was funny.
This movie would have been better without it.
Yeah, it would have been better without it, but it was enjoyable, but...
But then we cut to...
Oh my god.
This trial where...
Okay.
See, and he's trying to get it like a conservatorship over his aunt. That's how he can do it, is because she's family.
Yeah, and what I thought was going to happen in this scene, I thought the judge was going to appoint Fred McMurray as the guardian for this crazy...
But there's no reason for her to have a guardian.
No, she's just kind of an eccentric...
She's batty. That's all.
Yeah, and I did enjoy the trial scene.
The trial scene was fucking great.
Even though at one point the judge says, this isn't a trial, and I'm like, isn't it?
It's a proceeding. It's not really a trial.
But she called it a trial when she was telling Fred McMurray about it.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a trial to her.
But it's...
But he shows that she's smart because she knows, like, the tax code and everything that he's trying to do.
Yeah, so that he can get a bunch of money.
So he can get a bunch of money and have a tax shelter, and the judge is like, oh, okay, I get it.
I see what's going on here.
Sir, would you like to withdraw your request so I can save you the embarrassment, or...
Yeah.
He's like, yes, sir.
And Fred McMurray kind of gets to play lawyer a little bit, and
somehow that's his, like, he's like, well, we both know I don't need to be a lawyer now. I got my day in court. It's like, Fred, what?
It's kind of sad.
Although he is old at this point. So
well, yeah, because it's flashed forward again now to 1950.
No, we haven't done that yet. We still have to have Whitey come home.
That's right.
Because they turn on when they're having the birthday for the old guy.
That's right.
They have to turn on the radio and
the war is over.
Truman's on there. The war's over, which is a huge deal.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, just think about it, like, in how quickly we get news now.
Yeah, it's not that, yeah.
And then how much more dramatic it was back then, because, you know...
Back then, you might not have found out for a week.
Right. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Or at least till the paper comes, you know, the next paper.
Well, right, but you might live somewhere where there is no paper.
Well, that's what I mean.
Or radio or anything. You literally might not find out the war ended for a week.
Yeah. And this is... So how long did World War II go... Or how long was the U.S. involved in it, I guess?
I always think it's longer than it is.
Hold on.
I think it's like 1942 to 48. But then I always find out that I'm wrong.
6 years. 1939 to 1945. But U.S. didn't get involved until 1941, is that right?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's very confusing.
But 6 years is a long time. Like, war is over.
Whitey's coming home with his girl.
He's like, meet the bride. And she's also a soldier.
Nora.
Or a medic,
She's
I guess.
a nurse. Yeah.
And so then we get the flash forward to 1950, right?
Yep. And we find out poor old Mr. John dies.
So sad.
And he was going to leave the store to his cat. And he's a hilarious bastard.
I love this part.
Yeah, it's very good. And I like that they kept the picture of the guy up there because it makes it funnier.
Yeah.
And no, he leaves it to Vi and I guess Lem too.
Yeah, I guess. And
they're just like, oh yeah, this is great. And then they have to take the keys away from Lem.
Yeah, he's like, I could still drive, it's fine.
Yeah, no, dude, You're pushing yourself. You're taking all these pep pills. You can't be Scoutmaster anymore.
Say it, Whitey. The heart, huh? Is it bad? Whitey, answer me. Is it bad?
Lem, I'd say your heart will last as long as you live.
Well, that's not very funny.
Well, it wasn't meant to be funny. You're not as young as you were.
Well, that's a great medical observation.
Lem, these are supposed to be the cautious years. If you don't stop overdoing it, the next time might be real trouble.
All right, first chance I get, I'll buy. What is that?
Milk toast.
All right, Whitey, I'll make a deal with you. I'll try to slow down. But I'm not going to eat milk toast yet.
Slowing down isn't good enough. You need a complete rest.
Whitey, how can I rest now? Who's going to finish building the camp out at the lake?
Lem.
Who's going to get the free lumber? And who's going to get the free labor?
Lem.
Will you both stop lemming me? Who's going to see that everything's ready for dedication day? Who's going to coordinate all the activities? And who's going
Lem, the troop committee will handle all that.
Oh, the troop committee. They'll gum everything up. No, I've got to get out there and take charge.
You're good.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be doing construction projects because he like, couldn't get up because he was feeling weak because his heart is screeching out on him.
Because he's taking all those pills.
He's taking a bunch of... Well, and he has all that stress.
Yeah, from handling...
It's like too much stress and too many pills, and yeah, it's going to kill him.
Yeah.
So you got to just chill the fuck out. He had to eat some milk toast, which he was really upset.
He was upset about it first, but then when he ate it, he was like happy.
He was like, oh, why?
He's like, this is actually good. It's like old school cereal.
Yeah. For real.
And then we get this thing where they're going to go out and do the dedication, and they invited all these people, and Fred McMurray's like, oh, nobody came, and oh my god, he's being so dramatic. Like, he's...
Well, because he isn't in charge, and he was in charge of everything.
He's like, this is garbage, nobody's going to come out for this, and it's all going to be messed up. And
did you even invite the old scouts? Nobody did. They probably didn't tell them the date.
And then we get, like, the most heartwarming...
Yeah, it's Lem Day. It's literally Lem Sidon's Day in Hickory.
I was crying, like, from here till the end of the movie.
Yeah, it was a little misty around the whole
like,
house.
all the old people are there, like, the original scouts.
The whole town is there. Like, Lem is our guy. He's, like, the best person who's ever moved to town. He totally changed the entire town by raising our boys for us.
Well, when they get out to the...
And not diddling them.
Which is too real now. They get out to where the cabin is, they're doing the dedication, he gets up and gives his speech about how, like...
I love that the four-eyed kid became the governor.
Oh, yes.
That is the fucking coolest thing.
It's the best.
What's his dumb name?
Hoodoo.
Hoodoo, yeah. Hoodoo's fucking governor.
Yeah, it's the best. And then, so what Hoodoo does is he essentially makes Fred McMurray like an honorary lawyer.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
And really, like, heartwarming.
Heartwarming, and they just go and he cuts the ribbon, and they follow me, boys, full band.
This is a great movie.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Like, it's got it all. It's like
heartwarming. It's got a little
it's funny
drama. And most of the movie is very funny.
Yeah. Like,
the part where he's getting captured by the soldiers is fucking hilarious. He's got half the shaving cream on his face. He's like, it's like almost like a Moochie moment. Like, it's very close to a Moochie moment.
No, and Fred McMurray is very charming, and he's
the best. He's the fucking best.
The romance between him and Vida is very good
and real. It feels real.
Yeah, like the car scene, the movie scene, like everything about it was fantastic.
The lake scene.
Oh my god, the lake scene was great.
Calm down, woman. He doesn't say that, but he should.
Well, she was being insane. Because what I hated about it was she was, like, baiting him. She's like, oh, are you gonna forbid me to do it? And this is, keep in mind, this is like 1930.
Well, and this is where, and it's funny because when she sinks in the boat, she realized how much of a jackass she was acting like. And she's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna marry you. You're the best.
You're the best. Did you get any awards?
Yeah, my first award is the Follow Me Boys Award for Adult Casting. Don't overthink it. They cast Whitey perfectly, Hoodoo perfectly, Kwong perfectly, BP perfectly. Yeah. You usually don't get that in a movie. This was perfect.
And they weren't in that much of the movie, but it was still...
Whitey
I was really worried about Whitey.
So was I. And it made a huge difference that they cast... I mean, that dude looked like what Kurt Russell looked like when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Or not a teenager, but like a young adult.
Like a preteen.
No. A young adult.
You mean when Kurt Russell was young? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
they did a really fucking good job by just not overthinking it.
Yeah.
The hoodoo kid looked like the hoodoo kid. It's like, okay, good job, guys. Like, bravo for fucking once not ruining a movie by being like, who's that guy?
Yeah, they really did quite a good job.
Yeah.
And they did a good job on aging Fred McMurray and Vida.
And Vida, yeah, absolutely.
Like for being as far back as it was.
And they aged the heady lady too. Like,
Mrs. Siebert.
Like she was young and got older, and the other dude, Ralph. Like, they really did a good job of doing the future thing.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
It's pretty good. I had the Whitey death fake out because I was convinced he was going to die. And when I thought he was going to die was when they're at the birthday party.
And the phone rings.
And I said, oh my God, this is it. He's going to be dead. He's going to be dead.
The army sent somebody to your house back then. If there would have been a knock at the door, he would have been dead.
I just was convinced that he was going to be dead. But I'm really glad he didn't. But I was convinced he was going to be dead. So I was faked out by that. I was like, whoa, not dead. All right, cool.
Then I have the Swiss Family scene, obviously, for the army scene.
I didn't put that because I had a feeling you would, but yeah, the army scene, as delightful as it was...
It went on way too long, and it was really weird.
And if they just wouldn't have had that, it would have made the movie a little more streamlined.
It would have been really streamlined, and it would have been really a nice, tight little package. Like,
yeah. It would have had just not... On that note, I had this movie needs a diet. You need to trim the fat off of that a little bit because that was just completely unnecessary. No bearing.
The rest of the movie doesn't really need it, though, which is kind of crazy.
For how long it is, yeah. It's because it's 2 hours and 11 minutes, which is really long.
But it didn't feel that long.
No, because when we paused it and it was only like...
An hour in, I just assumed that the movie was going to be... Over at that point, but they added the army scene in. And
then it completely changed.
Because if they would have just gone to, here's Whitey getting out of the war, it would have just been, and then done the rest of the movie, it wouldn't have changed anything.
No, they could have even had like a 30-second montage of him with different scout troops and like years going by or something, you know? Yeah. And it would have been totally just as effective.
And Whitey's coming home from the war, he's going to be a doctor, oh great, okay.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the stuff, it would have been just fine, but I guess maybe they felt that army scene shows them having drama with other ages of people. I don't know. Whatever. Do you got another one?
Wait,
no, I got another one. So hang on. It was my turn because it was you, me.
Okay.
The Sword and the Rose Award for...
also had that.
Where did this movie come from and why is it so good? It just doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. Because when you think, like, when you were getting ready to watch it, you're like, follow me, boys. Which I believe when we first talked about this...
One of us said it.
One of us said, maybe it's a Boy Scout troop thing. Like,
I don't know. I don't remember which one. You guys will find out. You can tell us because... You'll have listened to this last week, and we recorded that 3 weeks ago.
So that was kind of surprising. We don't usually get it on the nose like that when it's a movie that we don't know. We haven't. I don't think we've used this one in a while, but I have the bury your part of the band cheeseball scene.
Bury your part
the whole adopting Whitey scene is very cheesy.
I disagree. I think it's heartwarming.
No, it is heartwarming, but it's the lines of we want to keep you Whitey. Like, it is very cheesy, but it's also heartwarming. You can be cheesy and heartwarming at the same time.
I don't know. So this is kind of a weird... I don't know if this is a Pollyanna award or Follow Me Boys award, but it's just a nice movie award.
Yeah.
Where the movie is very nice, it's very heartwarming, it's very good, and it's the kind of thing that everybody should watch and try and emulate their life around.
We have an award for that. It's what I put down, the Pollyanna Glad Award.
See, I don't know if I saw that, so I was just like...
Yeah.
That's why I was like, maybe Pollyanna, because like, I thought we had that.
No, it's the Pollyanna
Glad the same thing.
Award. Is that this is just a movie you feel glad after watching it, and that you should... This whole movie is kind of like... He doesn't have this big extravagant life, but he lives a simple life.
No, he's a fucking convenience store clerk.
But he makes a big impact on everybody that he touches because he lives his life with this kind of like just
passion and like decency and duty that everybody should have.
And everybody shouldn't be trying to live this over-the-top, larger-than-life
Don't be a fucking Ralph.
Like, yeah, don't be a Ralph. Be more like a Lem.
Yeah, be more of a Lem.
But yeah, that's also what I had. We were on exactly the same page with that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, biggest surprise, obviously, this movie's fucking great, and who the fuck knew?
I was just surprised it was long, I guess. I was just surprised by that.
Yeah, that is also kind of surprising. Remake or sequel, don't fucking touch this.
Well, I would just want, for a sequel, like, so what happens after Mrs. Siebert dies? Like...
Well, hello, if it's not obvious... It's clear that either Lem or Vi is going to die soon, too. I don't want to see that.
Like, but I'm curious, like, did she have it in her will that just goes to the Boy Scouts? Like...
She already did it. She gave them the property. She gave the Boy Scouts the property. That's why he was so pissed. Is she straight up just said, no, I'm giving the Boy Scouts the property.
Okay, that's right, because that's why he took
Which is what people also used to do. Be more of a fucking Aunt Hetty than an Elon Musk. Like... Buy a fucking lake and give it to a Boy Scout troop, like,
or something of that equivalent.
It's something of like where the people use it. Like you got like the Rockefeller National Park thing, and use your money to do good for the people, and maybe people wouldn't hate you so much.
Do more philanthropy.
Yeah, but real philanthropy that not like the Bezos lady philanthropy where she's giving a bunch of money to groups. Give something that will last for generations of people, like land-wise, like
or like building parks, or
that's what I mean, like land, like literally give people the means forever.
Yeah, no, this is that's very good point.
Passionate about public lands.
I have such a passion for it.
I do. I
know you do. It's great.
Let's see here. Any final thoughts?
Just if you have a spare 2 hours and 11 minutes in your day,
absolutely watch this. You won't regret it.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, definitely,
it has the wow factor in a big way.
If you need a pick me up, and just
absolutely
like just a simple movie, but it's overflowing with heart. You get to see a young Kurt Russell hit it out of the park.
Oh yeah, young Kurt Russell's fantastic.
All of his scenes are great. Fred McMurray's great.
Fred McMurray is out of this world. He's like out of his mind in this movie.
And it's just, you know what it is? He's like acting without kind of like trying. It's almost like he's just like...
It's like he's relying on pure charm. He's just like...
Yeah. You know, it kind of reminds me of when you watch a really good Tom Hanks movie. He doesn't look like he's acting.
Right. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
They have a similar kind of... vibe.
Effortless vibe, yeah. I'm into it.
And Fred McMurray is very charming.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like, he's not like, I'm the super hot guy, because he's definitely older than her.
No, he's like, I'm super cool.
Yeah, he's just like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm cool. I'm the cool and decent guy.
Cool
and that's
dad.
Charming.
Which I thought they would adopt more kids. I thought like they would...
So did I. That's actually the only disappointing part, was I thought that they would be adopting like every 3 troop scouts, like whoever the loser kid's parents in town.
Yeah.
They'd just be adopting, or there was a lot more orphans back then, you know.
Well, yeah, because it's not even like they had to really go through a process to adopt Whitey. They're just like, he's ours now. It's just... And that's why, you know, I think people have misconceptions about adoption now, because it's not like that anymore. You can't...
Well, yeah, you can't just adopt somebody, because now, back then, people died a lot.
Yeah, and there was a lot of orphan kids.
And a lot of orphaned kids. Now, young people don't just up and die, and there's a bunch of orphaned kids. Like... Well, and it just doesn't happen like that.
Well, now anymore. It's all run by private companies that make a bunch of money off of it.
Now you need like $30,000 at least, and you have to have this like resume of perfection. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyhow, did you get a budget for this movie?
I couldn't find a budget or gross or anything about that.
So same thing, Rotten Tomatoes score, no critic score. What do you think the people's score for this is?
I would hope it's at least in the 80s, at least.
It's tickling the 80s. It's 77, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, I don't know what... That's why I was trying... Because on Amazon, I was like, okay, what asshole gave this a 1 out of 5 stars? And it was because they were complaining about the quality of the DVD they received.
Oh, fuck off.
Or something. And so that made me feel better. But every other review was like, so heartwarming, best movie. Like, every review was like, this is amazing.
So that being said, what is your rating?
I really enjoyed this movie, like, a lot. So I gave it a 93%, or 9.3 out of 10 tragically wasted fried chicken pieces. Because if you looked at Beefy's face specifically,
Beefy was devastated.
Well, I was more devastated when
they took a chicken quarter out of Beefy's greasy mitt.
I was more devastated when she threw the whole cake in the oven.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Because it floated. And what I thought was going to happen, honestly, because when she was kind of standing after the thing was totally filled, and then she kind of plopped down, and she made like I thought she like had sat on the cake. That was...
Oh, that would have been funny.
That would have been great.
I also loved and enjoyed this movie. I just thought I had to dock it more for the military scene, which now, after we've talked about it, I feel silly for. I give it an 83. It's still fucking good. Great. I mean, but I probably should have given it more. And I love it. I think
it's a really good movie. Like, definitely one of the better ones we've watched in quite a while.
And definitely one of the best old movies. I mean, wow.
It's really, really good. Definitely something, when we have kids, I think they need to watch.
I don't know. I think a lot of kids would be like, oh, that's stupid.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You'd have to hit them, like, at the right point. Like, you'd have to show it to them.
If you had a kid in, like, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or
something.
No,
but I mean, you'd have to hit them on a day when they were feeling somewhat emotional.
Well, and I think my parents always did a really good job of, they always had us watch a bunch of older movies, like...
Well, I guess we'll do that, too.
Yeah, you just have to get your kids to have an appreciation for older movies.
Because I wish we had time to watch more old movies of, like, all these people that we...
Like movies from like the 50s and 60s and 40s. Yeah.
Because I know that there's some fucking gems in there, but we just don't have time to hunt them down and watch them.
Yeah.
Like the lady in this was in this movie. What was the movie called? It was, The Man Who Shot Liberty Vance. Mm-hmm. And it has Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne, her, and Lee Marvin. Those are like...
heavy hitters.
I mean, other than her, even though she's a heavy hitter, those are three huge movie stars of, like, all times. Like, what the fuck movie is that? I would watch that.
There's probably a lot of that. I mean, that's why...
That's what I mean, yeah. But it would be great to be able to have the time to fucking watch all these movies, but...
Yeah.
Who has the time?
Nobody has the time.
Well, some people do.
Well, yeah.
So now, it's time for Kat's favorite.
I just don't know how we're going to top it. I mean, it just was so good. I feel so fulfilled and warm right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes me like want to go on a camp out.
Yeah.
And it actually makes me like maybe I really enjoyed it because I did Girl Scouts and I don't know. It's so unfortunate now that the Boy Scouts has such a negative.
I was more of a whitey, but I lived in a town where the people didn't believe in the whitey. Yeah. So I was not allowed
like
to
that
be
stuff
in
is
Boy
really
Scouts.
good for kids if you as long as you don't have.
I really, really wanted to be in Boy Scouts, but they would not let me because I had divorced parents.
Yeah. That's really horrible.
Yeah, people are pretty bad. So this time is number 379.
That's in the 2000s, I think.
The 2000s? This is like in the
10s.
Oh, but it's Finding Dory, so it doesn't matter.
Aww.
Aw, Dory.
It's so sad when she finds her parents. Or loses her parents, I guess.
Oh, Jesus. What's wrong with this thing?
Do you remember how handsome young Michael Douglas was in Napoleon and Samantha?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this time we get number 119.
I feel like we've had that before. I'm just going to say that about everything because the list is getting paired.
That actually does not feel like we had it before, but I could also be wrong. Oh, yeah, I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Why are you making an excited face?
You'll find out.
I don't like it when you do that. What's the year?
1975. The closest movie we've seen was 2 movies before this, Island at the Top of the World.
Oh, great
The
movie.
next closest movie that we've seen after this
is
2 years later of Winnie the Pooh.
Is this the original Freaky Friday?
It is not the original
okay.
Freaky Friday. From 1975, it is Escape to Witch Mountain.
Oh, boy.
Fuck yeah.
You've been waiting for this for a long time.
Even though I know the sequel's better, I know...
How can you know?
I know the sequel's better because I think the original one is about the boy instead of the girl, and the girl is way fucking better than the boy.
But he could be better in this. I don't know.
I hope so. But I'm still excited to watch Escape to Witch Mountain.
I mean, it's not going to have a... What was the guy's name? Mr...
I don't even remember.
Oh my god. The scene with like his van and they're driving, like, it was great. Oh,
yeah.
Her red... I still dream about
the
her red power suit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With the gaucho pants.
Like, it can't be as good as Return to Witch Mountain.
With that lady with her... Oh god, remember when they're in the bank and the gold things are just flying into the car?
Yeah. But I'm still excited to
the
watch.
The random nuclear power plant scene at the end.
It's just great. So good. I love that movie. And I'm excited to see because we saw the shitty Rock movie.
Oh my
obviously.
Which, in terms of like modern, like 2010 post live action movies, it wasn't that bad.
Well, and for a remake,
yeah, it was pretty bad, but
it was at least like somewhat acceptable.
It's on the in terms of the Rock movie scale, it's like the less bad Rock.
It's because of that lady that everybody likes.
The lady
that was in it. She's like in everything, and everybody likes her.
I don't know anything about that. I can't remember.
You do. The Carla Guglioni or whatever.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. We can look it up later.
Okay, yeah. So, in the meantime, this has been Disney Odd Pod.
Don't we want people to like, subscribe, and...
I guess, yeah.
And, yeah, gosh.
Do all the things. Tell your friends. Ask your mom to listen to it. I don't know. Just, if you know Disney people... Say, hey, why don't you give this a chance?
It's not even Disney people at this point, because all of these old movies, like, they're not what people think of when you think of Disney movies.
Well, and that's true, too.
Just if you know somebody who likes movies, that's all it is.
Yeah, because...
and wants to find some older movie. Really, some of these movies I've never even heard of, and they turn out to be great. And so it's a fun thing to follow along and watch these movies.
And to be honest, I think if you're in your 40s or younger... You don't even have any idea what an actual Disney movie means. You think it means like Aladdin.
And Lion King.
But that's not really what it means. Really what it means are all these old fucking live action movies that these, all the people that are older than us grew up on, and they're like, oh yeah, haha, Disney movies. But like, there's some gems in there.
Including this one.
And it's worth listening to find out about them and watching them.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So in the meantime, this has been Disney Odd Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
Bye! You gonna make it?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why?
Oh, you were just like...
Yeah, no, I know.
There we go.
Ba-la-la-la-la. Ba-la-la-la-la.
Did you already pull up all your stuff?
Ba-la-la-la-la.
I did.
Aren't you special?
I am ready.
Wow.
I was just looking at the Amazon reviews because I was like, what is this? Yeah, we'll get there.
Why would you even do that?
I just was curious what the 1% said.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah. You want to try this?
No, I definitely don't.
It's really good.
Great. That's great.
Good for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
All right. Oh, oops.
I was like, why are you staring at me? Oh, man.
All right. Try that again.